Hey guys, what's going on? Back with another video, and it's a video of sorts that I'm calling an impossible Easter egg solve, similar to the one that Jason Blundell mentioned for Black Ops 3. However, as you can see, that Advanced Warfare came out in 2014, a year before Black Ops 3 came out. So it looks like Call of Duty Activision has always put impossible Easter eggs within their games and modes. And for me, I'll just mention real quickly, impossible Easter eggs, like Jason Blundell mentioned, aren't Easter eggs that you can activate, data mine. There's no like Easter egg steps to it. They're more visual Easter egg clues, maybe backstory, deeper meaning, uh, Easter eggs, and that's what a lot of the games turned out to be. What the impossible Easter eggs within the games for Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare, World War 2, and even Black Ops 4. They all had like a really secretive, deep back story meaning, and it's going to be the same thing for Advanced Warfare. So it's actually pretty cool that, like I said, that to see that these have always been in the games, and I guess it was kind of nice in a way that Jason Blundell had kind of in a way tipped us off that hey, there's like these impossible Easter eggs that we pretty much have been missing over the years. So, like I said, it has to do with Advanced Warfare, and it's pretty clever because it's actually going to tie into Cold War. It can possibly link Cold War and Advanced Warfare together, and I'll mention a little bit more about that in a few minutes. So, the first thing that tipped me off, even prior to Jason Blundell, was the double feature. As you guys probably know, or should know, Treyarch zombies and Treyarch Easter eggs and Treyarch games, they were always somewhat have been within the movie industry or kind of hinted at movies or were inspired by movies, but not all movies. I mean, not everything has been movies. It's been different types of media like video games, books, um, movies, books, TV shows, comics, different things that inspire them to make the zombies mode and even their campaign mode. And like I said, in just in case you're not familiar, I'll go over it really quickly. Kind of let's call it almost like a super Easter egg or of sorts at the time. If you finish, I believe all four DLCs, and I'll read it off because I wasn't a little bit too familiar with it. I kind of just knew like maybe the last paragraph I was familiar with, but it says double feature is essentially a hardcore mode for Exo Zombies. After unlocking it in Descent, players can play it by finding a keypad located in spawn, which will activate the mode. The keypad, however, requires all players to interact with it. So the mode basically it goes into black and white. It's a black and white filter, kind of mimicking black and white movies. I think it's really grainy, and it gives it doesn't get it takes away the heads up display. No teammate indicator. Once a player goes down, he will die immediately instead of bleeding out. There's no Juggernaut, which I guess back then was called Exomedic. So it's kind of like a movie mode. That's where I'm kind of going with this. And like I said, I think even before Jason Blundell even mentioned anything about impossible Easter eggs, I did. It always kind of like I always kept note of it, I guess let's say, and I always wondered what that meant. And as the years went on, and I got more involved in the backstory and the Easter eggs with Treyarch zombies. I kind of always wondered, I'm like, how does that piece together? And it looks like I finally figured it out. So, as you guys can see, the main antagonist, I think it says that he starts out as your friend within the campaign. So, for Advanced Warfare, um, Jonathan Ayers, like I said, is the antagonist. His son, I believe, dies in one of the scenes, and of course, this is all taken place well into the year 2000, I think like 2050. Um, Played by the actor Kevin Spacey, who, as you'll see, he ended up playing, I think, Lex Luthor in the Superman movies. So he's the head of a corporation who, as you guys know if you played the game, they create exosuits to make the soldiers stronger, can boost jump higher, run faster, stronger, and I guess that's really, you don't really have to know too much about too much more than that to kind of solve this Easter egg. Is like I said, like Jason Blundell mentioned, the more visual Easter eggs, super impossible Easter eggs are more like you really have to kind of think hard and kind of piece everything together, which it's going to be tough for most people. Um, but he creates an exosuit for the soldiers after his son dies. I guess he just wants it. Um, wants the other soldiers not to turn out like his son dead. And it's funny, that's where the whole press F for respects thing kind of came about. And at the bottom it says really quickly, he was a founder and CEO of a private military corporation, Atlas Corporation, in Advanced Warfare. He starts off as a supporting character for the player, but then it gets revealed that he's the main antagonist. I think he ends up using the exosuits for evil, to try and take over the world and stuff like that. He thinks he's kind of, I guess, a ruler of the earth, or tries to play like a god in some sorts, kind of maybe playing into the whole Lex Luthor character. Um, I'm not going to go too much into his whole backstory, because I tell a lot of people I do this so people can go and research it and look at it for themselves, because to kind of include everything and go into every detail is going to require a lot of time and commitment. But I like showing people the solve, and they can kind of come up with their own Easter eggs, or keep diving into it if they want to. Um, so I'm just gonna say that basically, in a nutshell, again, his son dies. He creates exosuits um, for the soldiers. So what we were supposed to know at the time is there is a comic book character called Steel, kind of like Man of Steel or Steel. Actually, Man of Steel is Superman, but so his character's name is the same exact name from Advanced Warfare, John Henry Irons, and he is a fictional superhero who appears in the comic book. Same exact story, obviously changed a little bit. He's a genius engineer who built a mechanized suit of armor that replicates Superman's power and bears Superman's logo. Um, I think in this one, or in the movie, it does mention that in 1997 there was a Shaquille O'Neal movie. I think there were, I don't know if it kind of sways, I guess, from the comic, or deters from the comic, but in the movie, I think there was like a drug war going on. I don't know if the comic exactly touches on that. But main important thing again, I guess, why Sledgehammer Games used it. His real name is John Henry Irons, and he wields a sledgehammer that is a reference to the mythical railroad worker John Henry. He has a niece named Natasha. I think that name Natasha comes up in Call of Duty somewhere else. I want to say even in maybe in Black Ops 4, but I'm not 100% sure. Let me just, okay, never mind. So anyways, you see on the right hand side, his real name is same thing, Dr. John Henry Irons. I don't know if it's the same story where he turns out to be a good guy, but maybe towards the end he becomes a bad guy, maybe he tries to kill Superman. I think I read that at one point I think he teams up with Superman. And I can't scroll anything because that's actually a screenshot, because I almost tried to scroll just now. But I'm just showing you again like the solve. It shows, and the reason I'm again like I mentioned this in reference to Cold War is Treyarch Studios is kind of more known as a Marvel Studios studio, where a lot of the Black Ops series takes place in the Marvel cinematic universe. A lot of it's inspired from Marvel movies. And I guess if Sledgehammer ever tries to dive back into the zombies, or maybe in the future games, that maybe they'll take more inspiration from DC Comics. And I was thinking how cool that would be if like they did a Marvel Studios, which is Treyarch, versus like a Sledgehammer Studios, which is DC Comics. or kind of like mix the two, have like some sort of backstory to it. But it is pretty cool to see that there was, like again, like I said, an impossible Easter egg of sorts that was built into Advanced Warfare, and I guess it's a really good thing. I know at first I had to. It took me a while to warm up to Jason Blundell, but I feel kind of it's unfortunate now that he did help the zombies community a lot. But and especially with stuff like this, pointing out that there's all these crazy backstories that the zombies community really has never seen. Um, and again, same thing. It goes into more his character. I mean, if you want to pause it, you can read it. But I know. Let's see. Okay, so Dr. John Henry Irons was a brilliant weapons engineer for Ar- Ameritech, who eventually becomes disgusted with the BG-60, a powerful man-portable energy cannon he had designed. I don't think there's any cannons in Sledgehammer games unless it had to do with IW Zombies or IW Infinite Warfare. He fakes his death, so um, maybe he's not dead, and maybe he'll show up again. Um, during Superman's fatal battle against Doomsday. Irons time attempt to help. I'm kind of just brushing over this because I kind of record this live like I always tell people. Um, Shortly after Superman's death, he finally awoke and crawled from the wreckage. And so he tries to or continues the work of Superman, so that's pretty cool. I don't think I have much after this. I don't. But again, like I said, I just want to kind of show people the solve that how cool that is that they had included DC Comics within the Advanced Warfare story. I know again, of course, this is more about zombies. I know that in Exo Zombies, I guess the same thing. He just kind of I know they did switch it. I know he's a good guy in the comics. At the beginning, I haven't really read through everything. Don't know if he ends up becoming evil, kind of like the Advanced Warfare Jonathan Irons. But it looks pretty cool that they kind of borrowed the same name and kind of borrowed the same backstory about creating a mechanized suit of sort or a metal suit. Um, I think he uses it for himself. I don't know if he does that in Advanced Warfare. I think he does at first. But I will end up reading up on this more to see if maybe he creates a line of suits or if he ends up becoming evil. But I'll just leave it at that for now. Again, this is just something you can kind of look on your own. It's pretty cool to see that they had always put impossible Easter eggs in these games. And and then traditionally Jonathan Irons is African American, um, but I guess obviously they didn't do that in Advanced Warfare, and they made him like I said, more of an antagonist, but it is the similar story. Kind of cool to see both sides of it, or the kind of the disparity of the both characters in the comic and Advanced Warfare. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Hope you enjoyed.